The robot you have selected is too heavy to qualify for this tournament. You will have to either lose some weight from this robot or select another lighter robot to enter. Your robot now has all the components necessary for entering a competition. If you like, you can use your remaining money and weight allowance to add weapons, armour and extras. Your robot is now classed as heavyweight. All right.
The rocket is getting ready to blast off, and anyone too close will be in real trouble. Make sure it isn't you. The pit under the rocket won't remove you from the game. You can drive out again. It's a good idea to get out as quickly as you can, because if the rocket blasts off, then anyone in there will be destroyed instantly. There you can see, we have an audience for the event up in the control room. Safest place to be. Three, 2, 1, activate! The crowd are wondering what's happened here. This isn't what they came to see. They want maiming and slaughter. In it comes for an attack now! The plague is menacing, swift and deadly. Time for a vaccination, I think. The steel armour giving it some protection from the impact. The titanium won't be able to stand up to too much of that. The titanium standing up well to the punishment. Punching into the steel, but it's holding out well. Getting into position with that deadly weapon. Starting to give way under the strain. Another small gouge out of it. Needs to get a bit more weight behind it to do more than scratch, though. The armour holding out well against the charge. And in it comes to ram with the spike. The axe slamming in on the attack. Slamming in. You can see it starting to make an impression. I think Dead Metal's waiting to carve up another contender. Not a lot happening here. The crowd want more action. You don't want to get in Sir Killalot's grasp. The titanium armour not as effective against that impact as they'd like. Here comes the spike again. Not much damage this time. Have another go. In comes the spike. But it doesn't look damaged to me. Man, right themselves. Something's wrong. It looks like they're out of the contest. The steel taking the punishment well so far. The steel resisting the blade so far. The titanium standing up for now. How long will it hold out? This is classic Robot Wars! Could be in for a shunting. It's carnage! Devastation! It's Robot Wars! The steel armour giving it some protection from the impact. The steel armour giving it some defence against the attack. The circular saw grinding through, starting to make an impression, but it's going to take more than that to give it any real trouble. The titanium won't be able to stand up to too much of that. The armour holding out well against the charge. The titanium covered body doing its best to deflect the aggressive attack. Tough steel armour making it harder to cut into, of course. No damage that time, hardly even scratching the surface, despite the strength of that saw blade. Tricky to cut into the titanium, luckily for them. Racing in on the attack. Can they lift it though? The steel taking the punishment well so far. The steel resisting the blade so far. Proving hard to get through the titanium, although it's not impossible. This has all the makings of a classic battle. Already a puncture mark as the spike gets stuck in. Nothing serious though, I don't think. The titanium standing up for now. How long will it hold out? Not too easy to cut into titanium armour. Steel, not the easiest material to scorch effectively. This is what Robot Wars is all about! Carnage! The steel armour giving it some defence against the attack. Oh! They want more. Hey, I think they're dead already. Go on, leave them alone. The titanium won't be able to stand up to too much of that. The titanium standing up well to the punishment. The armour holding out well against the charge. Tough steel armour making it harder to cut into, of course. The titanium covered body doing its best to deflect the aggressive... Cease! 3, 2, 1. Activate! The crowd are waiting for something to happen here. Now this is nuts and bolts. A shooting contraption with a trick or two up its sleeve though. I'm not sure how long the aluminium armour can hold up against this sort of impact. The steel taking the punishment well so far. Stabbing away with a spike. Not much damage this time. Have another go. Not easy to smash through that polycarbonate shell. In comes the spike. But it doesn't look damaged to me. And it's heading straight in on a collision course. This robot's here to amaze. Welcome, Scimitar. Moving in, having a go with that vicious spike. Not a lot happening here. The crowd want more action. The Marshal will try to take control if you're not careful. Here it is. The steel armour giving it some protection from the impact. Off comes the spike. They're going to have to try another tactic now. The aluminium armour, not much defence against this kind of attack. Hard to make an impression on the polycarbonate. It's very tough. And in he comes to ram with the spike on a direct collision course. Immediately attacking, the weapon flicking away. The steel resisting the blade so far. My word, there's bits of robot all over the arena. Can the aluminium armour stand up to this? The armour holding out well against the charge. The spinning saw getting closer as they charge in. Here comes the spike again, getting dangerously close to the CPZ that time. And it's going to be tough getting through the bulletproof glass on there. The steel taking the punishment well so far. This is classic Robot Wars. The spike piercing its target. Not much damage, but it's made a start. Not too hard to cut into the aluminium, but it's putting up a brave fight. Their spike's been broken off. Saw blade whirring as they try to find an opening. It's carnage. Devastation. It's Robot Wars. Not easy to smash through that polycarbonate shell. The steel armour giving it some protection from the impact. The polycarbonate, not such good defence against cutting attacks. They can't right themselves here. I'm afraid it's game over. I'm not sure how long the aluminium armour can hold up against this sort of impact. The armour holding out well against the charge. Wouldn't like to be cleaning the debris from the arena later on. Off comes the spike! They're going to have to try another tactic now! Ramming in with the sharp spike! A mighty clunk as it makes contact. It's tougher than it looks. Only a few scratches this time. The aluminium armour, not much defence against this kind of attack. Can the aluminium armour stand up to this? The steel taking the punishment well so far. Smash! And again, heavy blows from the axe, and it's taken a real battering with that blow. Hard to make an impression on the polycarbonate, it's very tough. Circular saw getting closer. Can they get in close enough? The aluminium shell, very flimsy protection against this onslaught. Not too hard to cut into the aluminium, but it's putting up a brave fight. The steel armour giving it some protection from the impact. Bits and pieces everywhere. You could melt them down, I suppose, and make a whole new robot out of them. Their spike's been broken off. In comes the circular saw. The circular saw grinding through, starting to make an impression, but it's going to take more than that to give it any real trouble. Cease! And we have a winner in the Covert Operations Final. Long may they reign supreme.